What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloth Talk Podcast, where we are vengeance. Today, we have another collaboration with the one and only Sunset Kid. And you already know what we talk about, man. We talk about The Batman, just released March 2022 with Robert Pattinson. Sunset Kid, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. And just I'm happy that we're able to give our man Pattinson his flowers.
Did he just come up with that on his own? I was about to say
that's been his thing, you know. Batman, Pattinson.
That makes sense. I thought you came up with that on the fly. I was like, they need to pay you immediately.
Nah. I ain't trying to, you know, over here lie over the air and stuff. All of a sudden I get a cease and desist. I don't know who came up with it, but it fits.
Robert Pattinson, man. Robert Pattinson. There we go. It's a device. Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you gotta see it. You gotta see it.
We might spoil something, so don't listen.
If you've seen a movie, you know what this song means. You know what time. You know what time it is. You know what I mean?
Vengeance is coming.
Vengeance.
I am the shadows.
yo, what's my eye makeup? I need to go outside. Just put eye makeup in the hoodie.
Hella depressed. Like, took the suit off. He was just in the mirror, like sad as shit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man.
Of course, you know, we knew that the Batman was gonna hit different. You know, when the commercial started out with Something in the Way by Nirvana, you know, R.I.P. Kurt Cobain, you know, and man, Matt Reeves, a lot of you guys don't know this, or maybe some of your listeners don't, but those who listen to
your listeners know.
Our listeners know over here. Is that Matt Reeves was famous for the new Planet of the Apes, in which he took everything in a different direction. So when he signed on, this whole entire script was changed from what was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the current Batman that we saw in Justice League, which of course is Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck walked away from the project. And then Matt Reeves came in and said, all right, I'll do this, but let me do it my own way. And he basically rewrote the script, created a story that instead of it being in the current world, it's in the Black Label, quote unquote, second universe of DC Marvel movies. Basically, it's in its own world like the Joker, but not in the same world as the Joker.
Yeah.
It's like, we gonna do our thing over here. Y'all go over there.
It felt separate, bro. It felt separate.
It felt like a new beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So, initial reactions, fellas. What are we thinking? What was your initial reaction after watching that movie?
For me, it was amazing. It was like feast for my eyes. The visuals, the way that they developed the plot, they submerged you into this world, and you kind of understood it by the end. It wasn't by the numbers. It was, and honestly, I think this is the best iteration of the Batman that we've gotten. That's true. Only for even for comic book fans, for cartoon fans, for fans that just love Batman and superhero movies. This is the first one that you could literally come in off the street, don't have to worry about anything else. Everything was in there and you followed along. And I love that it gave us false finishes, because a lot of people assumed that when the main villain got caught that it was the end of the movie.
It was a long movie, bro. It was 3 hours.
Right.
It's 3 hours.
But it didn't feel like 3 hours. I've watched movies that it's like, man, this is 3 hours. Like, how do you know? Because my entire body felt it. Like,
yeah, we were running on like 3 hours of sleep when we watched it at like 1 a.m. and we were still up, like tuned in the whole time. But yeah,
it's crazy.
It was a good film.
Quick side note, before I give my initial reaction, like you said, Sunset Kid said it was it didn't feel long. I seen people on Twitter, or I won't say people. It was like one person that was like, "Man, that was not the worst movie," but he was like, "It was 3 hours. I feel like it was like plot holes and it was terrible and all this stuff." I was like, "We must have
I
not."
was like, we must have watched a different
That's
movie.
what I'm saying. We must have not watched the same movie because I was like locked in the whole time.
There is a lot of social media hate on this movie, and when I say a lot, isn't a lot for you to notice. The consensus on the socials and in the website that it was a good movie. Is it a perfect movie? There is no such thing as a perfect movie. You're gonna have detractors, but I honestly think, not to sound my age, is that social media has now become a thing where it's the cool wave to go left, where everybody goes right.
Drake's not cool. Right. He sucks.
What are you talking about? You're trying so hard to be different. Like if it's a good
Drake
movie,
is trash.
If it's a good movie, it's okay to say that it's a good movie.
Yeah, there's always you'll never have 100% consensus on anything. But what were you gonna say, Jay Nice, about your initial reaction?
I think it was the same for me. Like as soon as it started, it was like very dark. I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be hard.
Yeah,
that was my initial reaction. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be tough. When all you hear is the boot stomping.
Yeah,
and man, like he gave his little intro, talking about, like we said, he's vengeance, he's the shadows. Everybody, they got the bat signal in the sky, so everybody's scared.
But did you peep that we were like 10 to 12 minutes into the movies before we saw his actual face?
Yeah.
I like it was all like it was like kept everybody in suspense when he came out. Like he just walked out, but it felt like he made a grand entrance.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel the same way. Yeah, that was tough.
It was really, really well done. There was a couple little nuggets, cameos in that initial scene when we finally saw him with the suit. Like the initial bad guy that rushed him was actually a dude that plays Robin on another show.
He looked familiar, bro. He looked familiar.
Like the main character that attacked him with the pipe come on, everybody's seen the commercial that he beat down, that he slowed down, that all his friends just literally watched this man get decimated in front of them and they didn't rush him.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro. It was my initial reaction. It was good, man. I enjoyed it. I felt like it was very concise and minimal. Like it was a minimalistic movie, but at the same time, there was a lot to it. It got complex in certain ways. Like the visuals, the audio, how everything came together was really good. Super consistent, very dark movie. All the actors are very consistent in their reactions and how they responded and how they talked and how they carried themselves. And like I didn't know what to expect going into it, but as the movie kept progressing and going along, I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of hard. Yeah. It's like when you listen to like a really good album for the first time and you go through like song 1 and 2, you're like, okay. Then you get to 3, 4, 5, you're like, oh shit.
Keep getting better and better.
This man on some shit right now. Yeah. So that was my initial reaction. But as far as you guys, like Batman is a lot of people's favorite superhero. Christian Bale and the Dark Knight series took a lot of people's hearts. It's a lot of people's favorite movie in that trilogy, especially with Heath Ledger in the second one. There's a lot of expectations when it comes to Batman, so people get very defensive. They have, high standards. Do you feel like it met your expectations, like watching this movie?
It didn't meet my expectations because as perfect as The Dark Knight was, it was the meat in the sandwich that ended out being a lame duck. Like The Dark Knight Rises was good if you see it through the rose-colored eyes of a Batman fan and Christian Bale fan, but that movie was not great. And you got to also understand that this movie, The Batman, would have actually taken place in the middle of Batman Begins, because in Batman Begins, when we see Christian Bale become the Batman, they literally fast forward to the part of when this guy was not a pro. Like, the most important thing about Batman, that if you watch even other certain comic books, if you read those and watched the show called The Batman, which ironically is coming out later out this month on DVD Blu-ray, as a re-release in accordance to the Batman movie, it basically encompasses, takes Bruce from the beginning and him learning to be how the suave and graceful Batman that he is depicted most of the time. This is like him basically trying to come up with the proper recipe. Because although he, you know, spoiler alert, because it is a superhero movie, he is successful in defending Gotham most of the time in this movie, but he doesn't do it in the most efficient way.
Yeah.
Like he's going in headfirst to everything. And that has nothing to do with the story being bad. That's how the story of Batman. Like, look at Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe. When he came in the league, Kobe was a chucker.
Yeah.
It took him a few years for him to finesse and be like, man, that man knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like, in the Batman Begins, which I treated as a different product, Christian Bale's Batman, he immediately had the theatrical step down when he was scaring villains when he rolled down, and then he had the whole voice modulation, which I get it why they did it for the Christian Bale thing, but that was never a part of the Batman thing that I can remember. You know, my co-creator Troa might beg to differ, but as far as my recollection is, I don't think that was ever a part of it. And I like the fact that Pattinson, aka Battinson, kept his regular voice.
Yeah.
But the one thing that separated Batman that a lot of people forget, when he debuted, he was the Batman, the world's greatest detective. And that's the side that we finally saw. He wasn't the Batman, the guy that I got some shit for that ass in my belt.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah, you did. Speaking of detective, you did see that a lot in this movie. Like, and I don't think that's something I saw in like the Christian Bale. I mean, you kind of saw a little bit. He had a little bit of help with Lucius and Alfred, but like this man was sharp, bro, from the beginning of the movie. Like
solving the crimes as soon as he got to the crime scene.
Solving
the riddles and shit.
Right, like, noticing little details, like looking at the blood on the boots, noticing the boots on someone else, and that's who I'm looking for. Like, yeah, it was very cool.
They were
it was
like
very cool.
Gotham PD were like asking him for help. Like, yo, what you think? You asking me this?
It's like,
I got the easiest solution. Y'all should have been figured this out.
Right.
And then, like, it was true to the character, because he said it in the movie when he tries to go after one of the top villains, and he goes to Gordon. Gordon's like, all right, let me get backup. And he said, no, I got to do this my way. Basically, he's like, I got to get it to the point where the guy either confessed or you guys got him dead to rights. You guys are not going to get a warrant for this man. You're not going to, he's like, I'm going to get his ass out. And then you guys do the proper paperwork to make sure he goes to jail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people get caught up in movies thinking the cops can literally just kick in doors and be like, police. No, there's actual legal precedence that has to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a judge has to sign off, give warrants, and you have to have a case. It can't be like, nah, we all know you're the bad guy. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like that's a different element that I haven't seen before. Like, I was born in '96, so the films that I've seen so far, Batman is super vigilante. Like, nobody cooperates with him. He's doing his own thing on his own time, and like that's it. But this movie, like, you get a bit of a different twist. Like, it starts off with him like going to the crime scene with the cops, like looking at stuff, and it's just like a different dynamic in the relationship. And I thought that was interesting. And like you were saying, yeah, go ahead.
But to be clear, it's a partnership of convenience. They don't like
Yeah.
They work hand in hand, but that's because it's probably a necessity. If they didn't, then
Yeah,
Gotham would
Gordon.
go to shit.
Gordon. Honestly, if Gordon wasn't there, they probably wouldn't be working with him. He was the only one that
Yeah,
was like giving him a chance. Everybody's like, "Who
Yeah.
the fuck is this guy? Why you
right,
got him in
Yeah.
here?"
right. Italian accents.
Shout out to like everybody at Gotham that was a cop was like an old world Italian. It's like, hey, like he might as well have one of the cops turn around eating spaghetti. Like, hey, what is going on over here?
Oh man.
But yeah, that was an interesting part. And like Sunset Kid was saying, I've never seen like a young Batman like this. Like you could tell he knew what he was doing, but he was still figuring stuff out. Like he said, he was running through brick walls instead of running around them or figuring out like a smarter way to do things. He was like full steam ahead. I don't care who's here. I don't care who gets hurt. Like I'm here to beat some ass, and that's it.
Right.
Like, and I'm here to solve this issue. So yeah, that was interesting. But Jay Nice, I don't know if your expectations were met. How'd you feel about the movie?
Well, so we were prior to the episode, we were talking like, you know, Dark Knight. Dark Knight is like in our top three, probably our number one. Not all of us, but Memo and I think, but it was in Sunset Kids. What was it, top 3 or top 5? Dark Knight was in your.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So y'all heard that in a previous episode. So I think I had high expectations, although it's not related to the Dark Knight. I think it did meet my expectations because I got hype off the trailer. We talked about the trailer earlier. I seen him. It was dark. This nigga. I can't say that on here, can I? This man. I forgot where I was at for a second. We should be fine, right? Anyway, this man.
It's all Gucci,
just
brother.
He pulled up and was just I don't know. He was more hardcore, I think. Like the fights and stuff, he was really like breaking noses. Christian Bale's Batman was like, you know, I'll incapacitate you. I don't want to, but Pattinson was like, I'm about to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like,
noses, I don't care who you are, get out my way.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Going back to the last collab, I try to warn y'all. Like this Batman, he's working some shit out. Like his therapy is the streets.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it before we started hitting the record button here, where like, yo, if you think about it, if you really think about it, like case wise, if you was a lawyer, the guys that he's shown beating up in the trailer with the face paint, they did not do anything as of yet.
Yeah.
Batman rolled up and it was like, I got you on intent, motherfucker.
He might not, bro. I feel like he might not have like beat them up, but the dude was like, you know, he was like, let me challenge him. He's like, who are you supposed to be? Because it was Halloween. He probably was like, oh, this is just a random. He must not have known who the Batman was. He like, oh, who are you supposed to be? He charged at him, and he was like, all right, well, he attacked me first, so I'm going to turn up.
So to correct what I said earlier, it wasn't Jason Todd, the actor with the half a face that's featured in the trailers and is a catalyst of this confrontation. Is an actor by the name of Jay LaCorgo. He's actually playing the third Robin on the DC universe show Titans, Tim Drake. So it was cool that he was in there because I immediately was like, I know this guy. And then it was cool that they made him seem like the one that was repentful, like in a way, because we don't know as a character, we don't know what he did to get to this point. You know what I mean? Maybe he might have beat up other guys and was like right now for his own safety because he was shook. But what we need to unpack is the fact that throughout this opening scene, Pattinson was talking about that he was the knight and all this stuff. And you could tell all these simultaneous crimes that were going around when the darkness started descending after the bat signal came out. They were scared. They wasn't scared because of who Batman was as a symbol. They were scared because Batman probably was putting people in the hospital for a couple years.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm scared, like, oh my God, this scary figure is like, hey man, I ain't got no health insurance. I'm
not
stay
away from crime for one night at least.
Right. Yeah. They were shook, bro. They were shook. I will say, I think it did meet my expectations as well. It might have exceeded it, honestly, because when I first heard Robert Pattinson would be Batman, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, don't know about that one. And I feel like a lot of people shared that reaction, but
that is very true.
Yeah, as you watch the movie, you're like, okay, my man doing his thing, and we talked about it before the podcast as well. Like his role in Tenet, you saw like he was capable of playing other roles, other more serious roles, and not being a vampire. But yeah, this movie was good. The more I watched it, and the more as the movie progressed, the more I liked it, and it was. I think this was a PG-13 movie, right?
I want to say so. Let me.
You're allowed one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie, right? I think it was PG-13.
Yeah, I believe so.
So this is my point here too, as well. Like, it was a PG-13 movie, but it felt rated R. Like, it was more gory. It was more brutal, bones breaking. There was more like hearing the fighting and the action and like cutthroat scenes, whereas like a Christian Bale Batman, it was very PG.
That's
like
it was kind of like not soft, but
yeah,
this one was more, it was I guess suspenseful in a way, more intense, more hardcore. Like you know when Batman's coming, you know you're about to get demolished.
Right, like the Christian Bale movies, like he'll fight a robber or whatever and beat him up, but you won't see what he looks like afterwards, or they'll disappear off the screen or something. This was like, no, you're gonna see his face mashed up, like
black eyes, all that.
It was PG-13, but they did for the longest were toying with the fact that they were gonna make it a rated R.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we get a full blown home release, I don't know if they're gonna do this during the digital on HBO Max, but I do think that we are going to get a rated R cut later, which I assume is not going to be like gratuitous nudity or anything. It's going to be more of him like breaking bones.
Yeah, there was not a lot of sensuality in this movie. Like he was like, I don't care about none of that shit. Where the bad guys at? So
first of all, if you go into this movie thinking you're going to watch Bruce Wayne be a billionaire playboy, now we get like 3 minutes full of Bruce Wayne.
Right. Bruce Wayne was not in this movie. He did not make an appearance.
He made a cameo. I'm not gonna lie. He made a cameo, but the only reason he made a cameo was because he was forced into that position to do so because he wanted to solve a crime. Like my man was obsessed.
Yeah.
This is like a lot. Like I started to realize that the bags under his eyes were not all makeup.
Yeah.
I started
like man was Batman 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was not sleeping.
Yeah.
Like his back and like my man, I thought in the beginning when he finally they revealed the Bat Cave and everything, or the Bat Subway.
Yeah, whatever.
For those of you I thought he was gonna pass out. Nah, my man stood up for like 8 more hours.
Yeah.
And then probably he definitely like honestly, if anything, he was a vampire because he slept all through the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
did y'all realize that like at the end of the movie where he started, so it was Halloween, then at the end of the movie he's like it's November 7th or whatever. I was like, yo, so this was a span of a week. So he probably didn't sleep for a week. I thought
this is probably like him to like if you think about it, like that's a good week for him.
Yeah.
They're not showing the weeks where he didn't get the bad guy and he just got beat up a lot. Like there was a lot of times that if he would have thought his next move, he would have saved himself a lot of pain, but he didn't. Right. He's like, what? That's him? All right, hold on.
Yeah, me and Sunset Kid talked about this offline, but if you're into anime, it was kind of like Sasuke's arc after he killed Orochimaru when he was just trying to off everybody and he didn't care if he died or not. Like this
Yep.
is how Batman was in this movie. But Trent,
Or even
mm-hmm.
even another different comparison. It was like Naruto when he was a kid that he didn't know how to fight, but he still kept trying to fight and got beat up got messed up, and then will get one good punch that will end the fight. It's just angry. Yeah. Pattinson was angry.
So 3-hour movies, lots of scenes, lots of experiences. What was kind of like your favorite and most memorable parts from the movie?
I guess I'll go first. My favorite sequences was when all of a sudden there's a point that there is a gunfight, a firefight, and then you see Catwoman getting out the way, and you as the audience think that she pulled Batman out the way, but no, Batman got up and left, and all you hear is and that has got to be the hardest introduction for we know is the earliest version of the Batmobile. Like that car, and it was like aggressive from the rip of the engine, and that right there, like that right there is worth the price of admission of the movie. And then just like you see it in Bruce's face, I got you now.
My man, he let the engine rev a little bit to let y'all know what time it is. Like,
yo, you thought our backs were against the wall. Nah, yeah. Hop in the Batmobile real quick, show y'all what's up.
But here's the funny thing about that is that he leaves Catwoman.
He did leave her.
Yo, this is why you know this is year 2 Batman. He doesn't care about nobody. No he was like, yo, I'm hopping in this car and I'm chasing the bad guy.
Yeah, bro. That part was crazy.
I didn't forget crazy. About that part.
Yeah. Well, Jay Nice, how about you? What was your most memorable?
I thought Sunset Kid was going to say what my favorite part was, but for me, it was when it was like, it might have been, was it the elevator scene? Wherever they were, it was like completely dark. And then he just popped up. So all you see is like the guns firing. So you got the it's like orange, and then it goes back dark, and he just picking them off one by one, beating everything. Guns firing at him.
And he's like beating them down because you hear a bunch of punches. It's not like one punch to knock him out. No, he's like, I'm gonna halfway kill you.
Exactly. He like
all you see is a muzzle flash. You just see Batman just like fuck this shit up.
in and out of the shadows. That was probably my favorite scene, favorite part, because I was like, he like that.
He was wearing gloves that had reinforced like steel at the knuckles. You guys realize that, right?
I don't know that. But that makes sense because they literally getting fucked up.
And then the stuff that he had on his wrist guards, that when he swings and he's putting his body behind the punch, he's just letting go all that weight. So you got to think about how hard that is hitting. Yeah. So
I think. Yeah, I was gonna talk about that part as well. Jay Nice, that was a crazy scene. But I will say, like, my second favorite part, and Sunset Kid touched on it a little bit, was there's a car chase scene, and that shit, like, I don't know, it was kind of Fast and Furious-esque. Because there was no words being said. All you heard was like engine revving, fucking tires screeching, explosions. But that shit was amazing. Like, if you see this movie, you have to see it in IMAX. You have to. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't see it in IMAX. Because if you don't have the surround sound and the fucking chairs not shaking during the movie, like, you're not getting the full experience. Because that chase scene really exemplified how like the visuals and the sounds for the movie were incredible. Like it was so raw. It was so raw. So that was
You talking about when he was chasing the penguin?
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, I got him! I got away, sucker!" And that man flew over the fucking semi. out of the fire.
That shit was
That-
crazy.
yeah,
I
that
was
was hard.
wondering. Yeah, I was wondering because they had that in the trailer. I'm like, how did the car jump over the trailer? You see how the things come together. I'm like, wow. So that nigga just said, "Fuck it." He didn't even plan that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Like he could have died. Like he could have died.
Exactly.
He was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna hit the turbo boost on this bitch."
Can we talk about how Colin Farrell was unrecognizable as the Penguin?
Oh, that
You guys realize who Colin? Yes, you guys don't even know. Go ahead and Google Colin Farrell right now.
I know what he looks.
You guys
like.
would be like, no
I know what he
way.
looks like I couldn't tell that was him.
Yeah, the makeup was good. Yeah, he was like, "You motherfucker, I got this guy now." And then he was like, "Yo, this kid is crazy. He's really chasing me in traffic right now."
Yo, and then we're not even going to talk about the body count. So many people died. But my second favorite scene is because of the small thing that they did with it. It's a big set piece when he's in the club and he jumps off the building. And before he jumps off the building, like, it's funny how his mind finally catches up to him. Because he was before he jumped, he looked down and like he was like, oh shit. And then he said, fuck it. And then he hit the thing and then he jumped off. And what is probably the most controversial scene when he dive bombs
like smacks
into
the bridge
subway.
or whatever.
Yeah.
We were talking about that too after the movie. We like how like there's a couple times where he might have should have died, should have died.
Right.
When he jumped,
Yeah.
he was flying, and he like smacked the top of a car, smacked the side of a bridge, and all that. We're like, yo,
Right,
that suit didn't even look that durable. Like,
It's that Kevlar.
Yeah, bro.
To go back what Lucius Fox said in Dark Knight, like, we call this memory foam. It forms into anything you want, Bruce.
Yeah. That movie was crazy, bro. So I think overall, all of our consensus is that we enjoyed the movie. You guys should go check it out. If you watch it, go watch it in IMAX. And and give Robert Pattinson a chance. He'll impress you.
And also because, it's a surprise for your audience members. If we get this to how many views and likes, we have a surprise for them.
I don't know. They be hating on the likes.
I don't know if they deserve it, man. Honestly.
I don't know. I'll leave it for you guys. How many likes and views?
We'll do 35. 35 piece.
Now let's do 50. 50 likes. Let's do 50 likes and views.
We'll get the views.
50 likes and views. Yeah, okay, 50 likes.
Yeah, 50 likes.
If we get to 50 likes and you comment and add a couple friends to check out the podcast, we'll pick one friend and you to go see the Batman on Us.
Sound good to me.
There you go.
Free Batman.
You gotta like, subscribe, and tag the friend that you're gonna take with you. And once we get to that point, I guess Memo and Jay Nice will go on live and pick whoever the person is.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. And that's my gift to you guys for allowing me to collab with you guys.
Exactly what we
Shout out to the Sunset Kid, man. Generous guy. Our first guest that has a second appearance on the show. So
soon.
Breaking a
I don't know. I hear rumblings that there might be a third that might be radically different than what we talked about today.
You're not ready for that one.
I know Jay Nice ain't ready for that.
I ain't ready for that one either.
I don't know. I'll let Memo put the question out to see if they want me on for a third appearance. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. Also, one quick thing before we end this. We didn't give her enough love. Zoe Kravitz killed this shit. She fucking killed this shit. Like,
and she did it.
I don't know what I was expecting before, but she looked good. She did her thing. She was fighting. She held her own, and yeah, she did a really good job. So shout out to Zoe.
shout out to Zoe for giving us a respectable Catwoman.
Yes. It wasn't
You know,
corny. It was never corny the entire time, and it was never forced. Like,
yeah, and I want to say, I I don't know. I have to check, but I think this passes that test. What is that test that to see if the movie is a feminist movie? I don't know.
I don't know, bro. I stay away from all that. I don't want to get canceled.
But this was a good movie. It was good to see an empowering character that was female.
She wanted all the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she gave the smoke.
And wanted. She's like, I'm going for whoever to find my friend.
All right.
I don't care who's standing
yeah.
away.
You know,
but
this was.
It's funny. Batman be like no guns, but he like beats people into a pulp. So it's like it don't even matter if you shoot them or not.
He's like he might die of brain damage, but don't shoot him.
Right.
Don't.
Oh, man.
I killed all those people in those car accidents. No guns, though. No guns.
Oh man. Yeah. Overall, like Memo said, great movie. You heard what Sunset Kid said. If you want to see the Batman on us, we need 50 likes on the YouTube video, and you need to comment on the Instagram post because we're gonna clip it as we have been doing. Y'all don't be showing love like that, but I digress. 50 likes on YouTube, comment on the Instagram, tag a friend. And when we hit 50 likes, we will choose 2 random people to go see Batman on us.
For the free ski, baby. For the free ski.
Free ski. And it's legit.
No
and this ain't for the
clout.
No
scams, no clout. But as always, we appreciate Sunset Kid for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Love this collab,
Yes,
you know.
The movie connoisseur. Batman, great movie. Memo, any parting words before we close this joint out?
Go see the movie.
Already.
That's it.
All right, y'all. Yeah. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Cloud Talk Pod, we out.
Peace.
Peace.